Hey all, Pi here, and we are back in our life, beginnings and always. And last time we finished off the first step, so now we are moving forward in time, and this should be interesting, because the first time I played through this I did not have all the DLC, because I just kind of wanted to see the game, you know, as it was at a base level. So we're gonna see what crushing on Derek does for us. Should be interesting. August ended, summer began. It was time to go back to school. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going to classes. Still, there were interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. You weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school, he was alright, but kept his distance from all the other kids. From what you saw, anyway. Oh. Hello. Thank you for that little notification, Steam. Originally, he treated you like everyone else, passing by as if you didn't know each other. But as the years went on, the two of you acknowledged each other more and more. A friendship had started to grow. That year, the divorce of Cove's parents was finalized. You overheard your parents talking about it, saying Cove's dad got full custody. At first, you worried that meant bad news. It had made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. Yeah, that's... Divorces are messy. But then you found out it meant Cove would keep living with his dad. He would only stay with his mom a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too, for different reasons, you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He had said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life a second time, which is very fair. When you're quite young, every move is major, because you have less life to draw on, less experience in the world, so it's a more significant change than it is as you get older, if that makes sense. Like, the older you get, the more experience you have in the world, the more at peace you tend to be with changes that when you were younger would have been major. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just going to continue. Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes Mr. Holden volunteered you to spend time with Cove. You weren't sure how well it worked in changing Cove's thoughts on the town, yet it might have been part of the reason you and Cove ended up growing closer. Cove never talked to anyone about what happened with his parents, and withdrew whenever it was brought up. It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You couldn't understand what had changed. Still, you worried about him. You could tell he wasn't completely happy. Maybe one day he could say out loud what he felt inside. After that, it felt like things had gone back to normal. Except what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed, and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore. You were 13 years old. That officially made you a teen, even if your sister didn't agree. 13. Such an awkward time to be alive. Oh my god. The toys and crayons that used to litter every free space in your room had been packed away somewhere, replaced by new hobbies. There were other changes too. Cove's cast got taken off. It was weird to see him without it initially. Underneath the pink plaster ended up being a long, thin scar that snaked across his forearm. Cove's chest puffed out in pride when someone drew attention to it. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove will probably hold that spot again next time. In class, people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did in tests and other academic situations. Over the years, he began opening up more and more, too. You saw him talking amicably with other kids or neighbors from time to time. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. He and his mom moved back south because of her work just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Berg. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks. But nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. You learned some heartbreaking things, became less sad the further away they were, even if they have never gotten any better. Yeah, that hits. Oh god. For some context, my patrons already know, but I did recently lose my cat, so that hits. That was sad in its own way. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all that, but it wasn't how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remembered calling her Mommy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname too. She insisted on everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and the shopping street, which she took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent time with you the way she did before. Elizabeth instead associated with more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. Yes. Yes, it is. It's like when you're both in elementary school, you're both pretty young, but like between middle and high school, that's a much bigger jump. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cove's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his work if Derek had the time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed, in small and big ways. You had too. As time went by, though, it was easy to settle into this new normal. Then, before you knew it, school was over and summer vacation had come again. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was hot as ever, but you were inside and away from its harsh rays. To be more specific, you were... I think Xander's gonna be an early riser. Wide awake, about to head out to enjoy your time off. You made sure to slather on a generous amount of sunscreen so you didn't get burnt. You were looking in the mirror, studying the clothes you'd thrown on, when your bedroom door opened without warning. In the reflection, you saw Elizabeth raise an eyebrow. Have you been staring at yourself this whole morning? The question of how much Xander has boundaries with his sister. We're gonna go with weak boundaries. Good morning, Elizabeth. She ignored that, crossing her arms over her chest with a disgruntled expression. Clearly she hadn't come in just to see you. Mom told me to tell you that your friend's at the door. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him, say thanks or whatever.
Come on.
So come down already. Be right there. Elizabeth said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. Now alone, you focus on the mirror once again. So part of me is very tempted to make Xander a short king, but I think I'm just going to make him average height. Because, you know. Your reflection fit comfortably in the frame, your average height. Cove was really tall, Derek was kind of short, and you were pretty much the exact height that someone would expect for a 13-year-old. You were kind of self-conscious over it. You couldn't help but feel awkward with the body you had. Then you put the finishing touches on your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to, so this worked in your favor. Your reflection grinned back at you. You were looking forward to seeing him. You left your room, resting a hand on the railing as you went down the stairs. Step 2. Second chance. You spotted Mom first, reclining on the couch. She held a magazine in her hands, which she was perusing through. Morning, Mom. She looked up at your greeting, a smile instantly appearing on her face.
Thanks.
Good morning, Xander. Thank you for coming down. Ma's at the door with Cove. He can't stay over today, unfortunately. Why don't you go and thank him before he leaves? You nodded and made your way to the front door of the house. Just as she had said, Ma was there making conversation. She must have heard you because she looked over her shoulder.
Oh?
Look who finally made it. Morning, sleepyhead. Ma reached forward, and you knew she was about to pat you on the head. She was taller than average, so you were little in her eyes, despite being a typical size for your own age. You let her do it. You stood by patiently and indulged your Ma's wishes. She gave you 2 small taps on the crown of your head. Ah, you're the last one down today, you know that? Sorry about the wait. Oh, there's no need for that. What matters is that you're here now. With a small laugh, Ma stepped aside. Cove was just as you remembered, exactly how you came to know him to be. He leaned uncomfortably to the side in your doorway as the longer strands of his hair idly drifted with a breeze. His features were pinched in embarrassment, and he shifted from one foot to another. He was holding what must be the much-talked-about gift. At first glance, you figured it must be a bouquet of flowers. Then you gave it a real look. No, instead it was a carefully cut fruit. It made a lot of sense that it was actually from Cove's dad. You had to suppress a laugh at this showing. You couldn't imagine many folks buying that sort of thing for their own personal enjoyment. That kind of arrangement was built for the presentation, likely to impress whoever was inevitably going to receive it. It seemed no matter how long he lived here, Mr. Holden would keep going out of his way to be neighborly, and Cove would always be roped into participating. Oh, the poor boy. Cove smiled slightly at the sight of you. The sting of this goofy errand, he was clearly embarrassed to be uneased. Hey, Xander. You earnestly grinned back. It wasn't weird at all, like it used to be when you were kids. As time passed, the two of you started to enjoy each other's company. Now you actually considered him a good friend, and not someone you were forced to be around by your families. Hey, it's really nice to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too. And you were certain he meant that agreement. It was already shaping up to be another long summer with plenty of time for the two of you to have fun together. His awkwardness over the task started to creep back in, so Cove nudged the gift closer to you. He was ready to be relieved of it. And with that, the gift was accepted. I hope you and your family like this. It's a pretty good fit, I think. It's a pretty good gift. I think so anyway. He smiled earnestly. Dad spent a lot of time picking out the best size and design. There were so many options to choose from. I don't know if Xander is actually the type to casually flirt with his friends. He seems way too high-strung for that. So we're not gonna do that with this character, but goddamn, do I want to! Thank you. To you and Mr. Holden. I'll tell him you said that. Mr. Holden's behavior really was different from any neighbor you'd ever had, though after 5 years, you were used to his antics, and you'd since made up your mind on what your opinion was. Oh good, they're doing yard work outside, and they've spooked the cat. Well, hopefully the sound canceling, or the noise canceling works for that. We'll see. He was sort of funny. Sometimes that could be a good thing, and other times it was a bad thing. Your thoughts were quickly interrupted by a shout. There you are! You shared a confused look with Cove. As one, both of you stepped through the open door onto the neighborhood street. It didn't take long to locate the source of the noise. You spotted Derek, just a few yards down the road. He ran up to you. I mean, we've already established that we're crushing hard, so you were happy at the sight of him. Derek was certainly a welcome guest in your neighborhood. It was a pleasant surprise whenever he showed up. Oh, he's cute! Cute baby! I forget how cute all these characters are. I just want to pinch their cheeks. Platonically. I should establish, platonically, these are children. After stopping a couple steps away, Derek hunched over to catch his breath. Then he looked up with a wide grin.
Hey.
Hey, my guys. Oh, that is loud outside. I was just at your house, Co, but no one was there. I should have figured you'd be at Xander's place. Do you ever spend time in your own home, or are you always just there? Derek laughed at his own joke. He either didn't notice that it embarrassed Cove, or the embarrassment was what he was actually laughing at. Derek turned to you. He was going to say more when his eyes widened and he gasped. What's that? You followed his gaze, I'm sure. Then you realized what he meant. We're still holding Mr. Holden's gift. It sounds like somebody is wielding a leaf blower in the hallway outside my apartment's door, and I don't appreciate it. I really hope that's not picking up on the mic, because that's awful. But we're gonna plow forward, because I have a limited amount of time to get this done. This? It's kind of like a bouquet of flowers, but made out of fruit.
Nice.
Nice. Can I have some? We're gonna go with maybe you can have some later. Derek grew more excited by your words, bouncing on the balls of his feet. Awesome! Then he nodded his head as if to clear it. Anyway, that's right. I came here because I need to say something big. He paused, possibly for effect. There's some other kid here in Sunset Bird. Cove was as surprised as you were by the news. Such a reaction made sense. No one around your age had moved here since Cove had 5 years ago. Were they with their family? Maybe they were cutting through. Nuh-uh. The new kid is all by himself, just walking. Did you talk to him?
Nope.
Nope. I came to report the sighting right away. This child is precious. The kid had green hair, glasses, was pretty small, and seemed really upset about something. I hope he didn't leave. You blinked. Slowly you looked over to your longtime neighbor. That sounds a lot like you, Cove. When you first got here, anyway. It kinda does, doesn't it? That's weird. He sounded almost fond, a small smile playing on his lips. Derek snickered good-naturedly. I can see that really well, now that you say so. But what do you say? Let's go find Cove's lookalike. We should all meet him.
Sure.
I'll do it. Sure, I want to see who this person is. Derek grinned. Then he pointed down the street the way he came. Last I saw him, the mystery visitor was going this direction. Nothing else needed to be said. The three of you were off, with Derek leading the way. Derek brought you to the beach, and as a trio, you made your way down the shore to the old playground. You walked the familiar path in a comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colors almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of the sun. He scuffled around, kicking up the sand as he paced. It was true, he certainly seemed upset, but you didn't think he was sad like you had originally pictured. No, with his erratic movements and scrunched-up expression, he came off as angry. You became uncomfortable at the idea of talking to the stranger now. You didn't want to bother him if he was in such a bad mood. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling out to the boy. Derek, you have no survival instincts. It's precious, but also, I need to, wrap you up in bubble wrap, sir. Hey guy, over here! The kid whipped around, and an impressive scowl carved deeper onto his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong, hostile energy still radiated from him.
What?
What? What is it? What do you want? The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet. What's your name? Jeremy. Was that it?
No.
No, I'm Derek. That's Sander and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. We wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids our age in the neighborhood. Yeah, so, it's cool to see someone else here. Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by your response. If steam could erupt from a person's ears, it would have happened then. They did bring me somewhere stupid, of course. I knew it. What?
My parents.
My parents, they're the ones who brought me. I didn't walk to this town. Can you not figure that out on your own?
Right.
Right. My dad brings me to Sunset Bird too, when he has to come for work and all that stuff. It's not bad. That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it, glancing away. It was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy. I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation, probably, either. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as a vacation. It's a waste of time, a chore. My parents' family is nearby, and we just had to come see them. Ugh. If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family, too?
I guess.
Fix your attitude, child. That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No! Jeremy crossed his arms with a huff. He turned away. They should have gone by themselves since they cared so much and left me home. But I'm not allowed to be by myself. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything. And I'm the kid? As we've established, Xander is a very quiet kid. He's very nervous. He doesn't like confrontation. You kept quiet. You had no idea what to say to this, so you just stayed silent. Jeremy didn't even notice, too focused on ranting. How do they always make a summer vacation worse every year? You turned to Cove, lowering your voice. The two of you aren't similar after all. Jeremy must have had good hearing, though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. Oh. Cove's cheeks flushed crimson at the insult. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger. Maybe both. Come on. That was all you could say. What? Look at them. I don't have to explain. You shook your head. It was pretty clear no words would penetrate Jeremy's armor of rage, but you still couldn't hold back your displeasure of his behavior. Ow, what is wrong with you? Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
This is dumb. Jeremy stuck out his tongue and skulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go, hunched over, until he became a speck in your vision. Silence reigned in his wake. The three of you tried to process what just happened. I can't believe it. What a mean kid. Derek wasn't kidding, and by the sound of those early complaints, the new boy Jeremy was going to be in the area for at least a little while this summer. Derek sighed in dismay, plopping onto the ground. You followed, and Cove did too shortly after. There wasn't much else to do.
This sucks.
This sucks. I was hoping we could meet someone fun. Hang out, maybe. He shook his head. After a moment, he slowly turned to you with a hopeful expression. But, you know what would really improve the day? What? He didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point. Right at the fruit arrangement that you were still holding. You completely forgotten about it during the mini-drama that unfolded. You had gotten used to the wait. Glancing over to Cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must want some too. Alright, Xander's gonna be a little bit more responsible than Joy was in this situation. Oh, I need to save it.
Okay.
He sagged, still staring at the glistening fruits, but he didn't insist further. Yeah, it is a gift for the Addams family after all. They should be the ones who get to have it. Sorry for asking. It's fine. Quiet once more descended upon your group. Cove turns towards the ocean, a peaceful expression on his face. Hey, you two remember the land before time? That fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs all liked leaves that were shaped like stars. Tree stars. Yeah, chomping leaves looked so delicious when they did it. I love that movie. Me too. Derek didn't say anything further about dinosaurs or otherwise. For the next few minutes, the three of you watched the waves crash onto the shore. Hey, Xander. Yeah? The two of you met eyes casually. Forget it. Okay. Xander's just like, the heck is going on? Yeah. Derek, sorry. Oh, this is such an awkward little moment. I love it. Derek then leaned back on his arms. He contemplated the sky with a contented sigh. So, are you both ready for summer break? Yeah. Cool on you. Wish I could say the same. Feels like there's a lot to plan for.
Hmm?
And what about you, Cove? Are you ready? Yes. Before you could say anything else, the light atmosphere was shattered.
Hey!
Hey, Xander! You glanced over your shoulder to see your sister. She strode closer and closer, appearing none too pleased. I've been looking all over for you. Ma said you and Cove ran off with the thing Mr. Holden bought for us. She leered over you with arms folded. So, where is it? It's fine, and right here. You turned your body to face her and held up the bouquet, proving that it was in one piece. She inspected the fruit arrangement with a small frown.
Okay.
Alright, looks good. But if all you're doing is sitting around, you better take it back to the house now. It's not just for you. She grinned, glancing at Cove, who sat beside you. Even if you do have an in with the delivery boy. This was up to Mr. Holden. Cove stifled a chuckle and gave you a conspiratorial look. Get going. This wasn't okay just because you hadn't done anything. Yet. Oh no, I think I hear the Meaden kid coming. We better get out of here. Elizabeth blinked, confused, and looked around.
What?
What kid? I don't see anyone. Derek didn't bother explaining. He just launched to his feet and ran off. Cove hopped up too, gladly taking the opportunity to exit the situation. He followed after Derek, but he sent a look to you from over his shoulder. He turned to watch Elizabeth. She stared back, brow raised. You ran. Without a word, you two got to your feet and bolted down the street. Unimpressed, Elizabeth rolled her eyes.
So immature.
She shook her head as she walked towards the house, not bothering whatsoever to follow. Meanwhile, the three of you made it back to the shoreline. Derek pumped his fist, grinning in triumph. We escaped and shall live to see another day! Victory! You threw up your arms in celebration. You chuckled together, walking further down the beach side by side. You definitely wanted to stay outside a little while longer. You had gotten a bit of talking to for running off with a gift, twice, even though you hadn't eaten any of it. But Elizabeth was also asked to be a bit more patient in the future. In the end, the four of you had split the bouquet, and the event was fully resolved. After that, Derek had rejoined you in the living room. He'd elected to stay outside for extra time so that you could face the potential scolding from your family without him witnessing the embarrassment. Derek was the guy you could count on. The dust had settled from the prior events, and your moms went back to their room, so Derek was just taking it easy until his dad arrived. Mr. Suarez was meant to be there any minutes to get Derek. Derek preferred not to sit, and instead took long, lazy strides in a circle around the edge of the rug. Hands behind his back and head angled towards the ceiling, Derek looked like he might have been puzzling out a crime. He probably made half a dozen rounds when a solid knock struck your front door. That stopped Derek in his tracks. Dad's here. The both of you stepped towards the door in unison. You arrived first, since you'd had a half-room head start. When you'd pulled it open to only a crack, someone zoomed in past you. Ha! Oh, she's cute! The breakneck flash of a human was still entirely recognizable. It was Derek's little brother, Nicholas Suarez. He shouted triumphantly. Derek! Derek, we're here! He was only 6, the tiniest kid around. Hot on his heels came the middle Suarez son, Jorge. Nicholas, we have to stay in the car. We're going home. We're not here to play. He was 10, and his patience was being tested. Ah. The youngest one frantically shook his head. It made his hair even messier than it already was. Nicholas' hair was as wild and free as he was. Hair clips and his parents' minivan couldn't contain the energy. Which might have been surprising considering he loved cars enough to wear a shirt covered in them, but you knew Nicholas loved Derek even more. Staying right where he was, inside your house, at his even older brother's side, Nicholas gave Derek a hug. I came to get you. Derek bent down to scoop Nicholas into his arms in a fond squeeze, though he kept his face tilted up to make eye contact with Jorge.
Hey.
Hey, bros. Side by side, Mr. and Mrs. Suarez trailed in. The resemblance between the parents and their children was clear. Derek and Jorge were the spitting image of their father. Jorge was even sometimes called Junior, while Nicholas was a mama's boy.
Good evening.
Ah, good. Good evening, Xander.
Hello.
Hello, you'll have to forgive the three-ring circus visiting town. The boys just had to come. Alright, we are actually gonna cut it there, because I'm starting to struggle to form words. I think I'm almost at the end of this, but we will finish it off in the next one, and that's just gonna have to be fine. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, leave a comment if you have anything to share, subscribe if you have not yet, and if you would like to support me financially, by all means, go check out my Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to all of my regular videos. And for everyone else, just thank you for hanging out for a bit, and I hope to see you again in the next one.